I want to say thanks to all who subscribed to our channel. As we promised, here are the winners from last week.
Hello everyone, this is Jeffrey Henderson going to a shoot, ready to shoot. Just wanted to let everybody know that from now on, all the music that is currently playing in the YouTube videos, including the introduction song of The Innocent Love, it's going to be replaced. So we're basically going to be making our own music from scratch due to copyright. And we just don't want to have any problems down the line, and especially when our channel grows. So from now on, all the music that is going to be in these videos, from now on, from here on out, is going to be originally composed by myself. And also Sherry's helping me too sometimes. And yeah, so with that said, so you will hear new music from now on throughout all the videos. So can you see me? Okay, let's start the video. Hello everyone, this is Jeffrey Henderson, and thank you so much for joining our YouTube channel. I really appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, I ask you please to subscribe to our channel. Also, please like and comment and share this video with anyone who is going on a date, because this is what this whole video is about. This is basically what I want to talk about. I want to talk about 6, not 5, 6 things that you should not do when you go on your first date. So, with that said, number 1, do not be late for your date. What I'm saying by that is it is extremely important to be on time. Hey, think about it. This is your first date. This is the first time you're going to meet this guy or you're going to meet this woman. You want to be on time. I mean, this is just a no-brainer. You know, if you're going on a first date and you're showing up late, what does it tell the other person? It tells the other person that you're not really that serious about that person. Or it shows the other person that you maybe don't respect them much, or whatever you want to call that. You know, and you don't want to be late for the first date, especially the first date. Now, of course, things can happen. You know, for example, you know, you're in traffic because something happened on the road or whatever. You know, in that case, you know, at least call or text a person and tell, hey, you know what, I'm going to be late, and just wait for me. I'll be right there. You know, that way the other person realizes that, hey, this person cares so much about me and is looking forward to this date so much that at least she or he calls me or texts me and let me know that she's running or he's running behind. And by that, you know, at least, you know, she respects you, he respects you, and you don't have to worry about that. So what I would highly suggest is, you know what, be on time. If you are running late, you know, I would suggest, or if you think you're running late, especially if you know the roads or anything like that, and if you think you're running late, then maybe just get earlier, you know, just be there half an hour earlier and just relax and wait. It's better than being late. At least you have time to sit around and wait and ponder what you're gonna say, maybe watch this video, and with that said, at least you can prepare yourself for the day. So what I'm saying is, do not be late for your first date. Number 2, please do not talk about yourself. Now what I mean by that is this: don't sit on the table or wherever you are and keep talking about yourself without stopping. You know, you keep blabbering and talking, and you're just trying to impress the other person or whatever you're trying to do. This is a complete turn-off for the other person, whether you're the guy or the girl, don't matter who it is. The majority of people, I'm not saying everybody, but the majority of people will be very turned off by that, and they will lose interest very fast because all they see is you trying to prove yourself to them. And you know, maybe you brag about yourself or anything, you're trying to convince the other person to like you or whatever you want to say. You know, I would say do not do that. You know, give a chance to the other person ask you a question and ask them what they like. Ask them about them. You trying to get to know the other person and not trying to, you know, put yourself on the table and trying to express yourself and put yourself up there and trying to, you know, prove yourself. You know, don't do this. You know, when you go on the first date, just make sure when the other person asks you a question, you know, keep it short and keep it simple, and then move on and ask another question to the other person. You know, if you do talk about yourself, what I'm trying to say is this: keep it short, keep it light, don't go too deep, and show that you have interest in the other person rather than keep talking about yourself. This is what I would highly suggest you should do. Number 3, do not talk about your ex. Very important. What I'm saying is this: if you going out on your first date, whether you're the guy or the girl, and you start talking about your ex, you know, my ex, man, I tell you, man, she was so, man, she was really annoying to me. I hated her so much, or I hated him so much. And oh man, I just cannot believe what he did to me. And I just cannot believe that she would do this to me. And you know, what I don't like about her is this, you know, she always does this, and she always does this, and she always does this, and she always does that. Or he does this, or he does this, or you get the picture. What does it show you? It basically shows you that you're not over your ex. You know, you're constantly talking about her, you're constantly talking about him, and the other person who's trying to meet you is thinking, you know what, this guy, this girl, he's always talking about his girlfriend, his boyfriend, her boyfriend, you know? And it's kind of like, okay, this is a very bad turnoff. So anything about your ex, just keep it off the table. Don't say nothing. Now, this is the thing. If you are trying not to say anything, then obviously you're not ready for a first date to begin with, because you should be completely over your ex in order to move on and go on to a date and meet somebody else. So this is extremely important. It should not be a problem for you not to talk about your ex in the first place. So remember that. However, if the other person asks you, you know, how old was the ex? Or how long were you married? Anything like that, then yes, out of respect and because you care about the person, you want to answer that question, okay? But keep it brief and keep it short. Just like the other step I told you before. Make sure you keep it short and simple and don't keep talking about it, you know? And like I said before, if you keep talking about it, you can't stop talking about your ex. That means that you're not over your ex and you're not ready to go on a date. So with that said, take my advice. Number 4, do not go into fancy restaurants. Okay, very important. Think about this. You don't even know the person. You don't know who the person is, but yet you're trying to take her or him to a very fancy restaurant. Why would you do that? Are you trying to impress the other person? Are you trying to show the other person how much money you got in your pocket? What does it tell you? It tells you that you're not self-confident, that you don't want to express of who you are. I would not suggest you should do this, especially not on the first date. Now down the line, obviously when you get to know the person and you really start caring for the person, then yes, you know, you obviously you do all these things. But in the meantime, you really don't do that, you know? And the other thing is this. I would personally suggest that if you do go out with somebody and you go on a date, keep it simple. You know, go eat, have some ice cream, or have a cup of coffee, or maybe go to the park and walk, or maybe just walk down the streets in the city, you know, and just get to know the person. Because on the first date, it is not really about, you know, doing something with the other person. It is about getting to know the person. You can get to know the person anywhere. You can get to know the person having some ice cream, or, you know, going on a nice walk. You know, you don't have to spend a lot of money, you know. So I would personally suggest you don't do this. And plus, think about this. You spend a lot of money, you go to a nice dinner, you get the bill. The bill is $180 for 2 people with the champagne and everything that you bought. And then 3 days later, the person brushes you off and don't call you back. So now you wasted $180 on somebody that didn't even know. So what a waste of money. Now in this economy and nowadays, I mean, money is, I don't know about you, I'm not rich, but I would say honestly, hold your money to yourself. Make sure you spend the money on somebody who's worthy of that money. And the only way you know the person is worthy of the money is if you get to know the person and you know who that person is. Number 5, do not play hard to get. This is, oh my gosh, this is something that is just so immature. I have seen this in my dating phase a couple of times. Before I met my sweet baby love, I have met, and I'm just talking out of my own experience, I have met some females and they have played hard to get. So what I'm trying to say is this. First of all, you're already going on a first date. So with that said, you're already showing interest to that person. You're showing that you like the person and that you care about the person. So why would you play hard to get in the first place? The other reason is, I think personally it is just so immature if you do that. You know, I mean, we're grown-ups, we're not children anymore, and we just, you know, when people do something like that, it is just completely childish. This is something that I personally think is very immature. Playing hard to get on a first date is just completely ridiculous. What I'm trying to say is this: you're already showing interest in the other person, you're already showing that you like the person, and now, what I'm trying to say is this: the reason why people play hard to get is because they have a sudden loss of interest in the person when they see them on the first date. Maybe they saw the person online and the person was very cute, or she was very cute, and all of a sudden you see the person in reality and it's like, oh man, he or she is nothing like on the picture. So don't play hard to get. If you don't like the other person, then just be straightforward and just tell the person, you know what, I had a nice time. Just be honest, don't lie, don't pretend, but be honest and tell the person, you know what, I enjoyed the dinner or whatever. I'm not really, I don't really feel what I thought I would when I saw the picture. So I'm sorry, but let's just call this a nice time together and let's move on. Just be straightforward and honest, you know? Playing hard to get, and what I'm trying about hard to get is kind of like this. You know, you playing games with the other person. Maybe because you're not confident enough to tell the person I'm not interested. And you basically just, you know, you swivel your way around, you know, you basically, you know, okay, we can go on a second date over here and there, and you don't show up. Or the person calls you on the phone and say, hey, are we going to meet today? I'm not quite sure if I should, you know, or the person, it's just you're being very tricky to the other person. You're not telling the person straightforward of what you think about them. You know, you're keeping the other person wondering and thinking whether you're interested in the other person or not. So playing hard to get is just immature. I think people who play hard to get are people who are, for example, maybe they're shy and they're afraid and they don't want to tell how they feel. And because of that, they just kind of like swivel around and don't tell exactly how they feel or what they think. And they're just playing all these games. Or there are people out there, they are just simply just gold diggers. I'm going to say it just like that, whether it's a guy or a girl, gold diggers. Simply just want to go out on a date, have a nice free meal. If you're the girl and got taken up by the guy and you're just taking a nice free meal, you know, and those are intentions why people play hard to get, because they don't come to the date to meet you in the first place, but rather just have a nice go out and have somebody take me out for dinner or take him out for dinner and have a free meal. You know, that could be another reason. So those people I'm not talking about. I'm not even speaking to those type of people. I'm speaking to people who are really interested in meeting somebody and wanting to know that person and wanting to have advice on how to go about on the first date. So with that said, don't play hard to get. I think it's childish and you should not do that. Number 6, do not be on your phone, okay? If you're going on a date, okay, we already talked about no fancy restaurants, okay? Now, however, if you are in a restaurant, probably because you've been going to the restaurant, you haven't seen this video yet, so you missed it. But however, if you're going on a first date and you're trying to meet somebody and you're trying to express interest in the other person and you're constantly playing with your phone, what does it tell the other person? It tells the other person very straightforward that you're not really interested in that person. You're not interested in what he has to say. You're not interested in what he does in life. You're not interested. You're not interested in meeting him or her. You know, it basically shows a complete disrespect. I have heard stories where people. I was watching some of those dating videos myself, and where people just constantly on their phone while the other person is trying to impress him or impress her. You know, and this for me is completely disrespectful. It is completely disrespectful. Now, if you are the type of person who's playing with your phone, you have to ask yourself the question, are you really interested in meeting somebody? Are you really interested in meeting another person? Now, if you are going with the intention of going on your phone, then you should not go on the first date or any date whatsoever, because you're just insulting and disrespecting other people. However, if you are the type of person who gets easily distracted and you tend to go on your phone while you're going on a date, it could happen, you don't know. Maybe you're going on a date and all of a sudden you lose interest in the person and all of a sudden you pull your phone out, start playing with your phone. Don't do that. Put that phone to the side and just hang through the date and just talk to that person. And if if you're uncomfortable and you don't know what to say, and that's the reason why you're on the phone, and you don't want to say, you know what, I'm sorry, I don't think it's going to work out, I'm just going to leave. You know what, you have to build the guts. You have to get the courage of stepping out and to say, you know what, I'm not really interested in continuing our date together, so let's just call it quits and let's just move on. But don't be on your phone while you're on your first date. I think this is just completely disrespectful and you shouldn't do that. If the other person is also on the phone, or the other person asks you, hey, can you show me something on your phone? Or can I want to show you a picture of my mom or whatever. Then obviously, yes, you pull out your phone or whatever. Or if somebody calls you, think about it. You're on your first date, okay? Just turn your phone off. If it's an emergency, okay, you can always dial your phone. You can change if it's an emergency, if they call 3-4 times, and usually, okay, you say, excuse me, it's an emergency, I have to go on the phone really quickly. But other than that, put that phone to the side. You're on your first date. Show the other person some love. Some love. Okay, thank you so much, guys. You made it to the end of the video. Now with that said, I have a surprise for you. It's not really a surprise, but it is a bonus. I have a bonus suggestion on your first date. Okay, if you have your first date and the date went really well, you really had a great time, you really liked each other, there was chemistry, there was sparkling, okay, anything like that. Maybe you even kissed, I don't know, could happen. Make sure that you do not leave without confirming a second date. Please don't just go and say goodbye without telling the other person, hey, when are we going to meet again? Or, hey, can I give you a call? Maybe we can meet up tomorrow, or maybe we can meet up next weekend, or maybe we can go to the movies. Make sure you lock in that second date before you leave. Very important, because I'll tell you why. Maybe you forgot to exchange phone numbers. It could happen. Maybe not, because how did you meet in the first place? Don't work out that way. However, if you just decide to move apart, maybe the other person loses the number, or maybe the other person thinks, oh, maybe he wasn't that interested in me to begin with, because he didn't ask me to see me again, or to see him again, or whatever, So if you both are interested, even if one person is interested, let's say you're interested in the other person, you're not quite sure if the other person is interested or not. Sometimes you usually can feel that, but if not, at least still ask the other person, hey, can I see you again? Make sure you confirm the second date before you leave the first date, especially if it's, obviously, if it is a date that was just great and you had a great time together, make sure you ask for that second date before you leave that other person. So with that said, guys, thank you so much. I hope that I was able to give you guys some insight and suggestions of what you should do on your first date. Obviously, there are other things that you should not do during your first date. I can name a whole list of things, but those are the things that I wanted to talk about that I think are very important. Also, and I forgot to mention it in the other love advice video, I'm planning on doing multiple love advice regarding relationships. It could be anything regarding relationships. So if you have any suggestions, if you have anything that you want to know about me, put it in the comment below, and I will make sure that I will include that in our next video. Now, obviously, if there are multiple people asking, hey, can you talk about this or can you talk about that, I cannot do it all at once. I do one subject at a time, but I will write these subjects, these topics down, and make sure that eventually I will answer your questions as well. So with that said, thank you so much guys for watching. Make sure you tune in and stay tuned with Innocent Love and subscribe and click that little notification bell so that way once we have a new video, you will be immediately informed. So with that said, thank you guys and peace out.